We try to make ourselves look big, try to talk others down, and sometimes gain some respect aggressively, some godlike reverence to ourselves.
Welcome to Violent Men, Ambassadors of Peace podcast. I'm your host, Kit, joined by my other host,
P.
And today we have another guest. It seems like we just keep knocking it out of the park with our guests. So our guest joining us today, his name's JT.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on? So before we usually meet, we usually have a chance to talk to our guests to kind of get a feel for, what we're going to be talking about. But it seems like every time we talk, we have a plan and then something else always happens. So today we kind of uncovered several things that we could talk about. And today we're going to talk about healing. But before we get to that, I want you to talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us about who JT is.
Okay, well, let me just start by saying I think as of late, maybe within the last few months, I feel like I've been living in some of the best days of my life, It hasn't always been like that. And, there's been some questionable seasons, but nonetheless, just like any other season, things change, things pass. And, we're living in some good days.
Yeah.
Some good days. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here with y'all today.
Okay. We're happy to have you. One thing I want to ask you is, when you say questionable season, just let our audience know what that could mean, because I know whenever I have a questionable season, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of misguided decisions. I get very erratic in my decision-making process sometimes. I can't tell y'all that I'm ultra spiritual and guided by a lot of prayer and fasting all the time. So what do your questionable seasons look like?
I'll tell you, we're in the middle of December, and you want it to be nice and cold and fresh. And all of a sudden, there's a heat wave, and God, why?
Right.
And some of those moments, they happened more often than not. When it's cold in the summer and it's hot in the winter, and I think I got through a lot of those seasons where it was questionable in the way of it just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
Stuff didn't make sense. You get to that place where you're asking yourself, why me? Why now? Why at all?
Yeah.
And, I think just God had been faithful before those seasons. He was faithful through them, and he's faithful now.
Absolutely, man. Well, just so y'all know, we're really privileged to have JT here with us, because prior to him coming, there was a little bit of, he had a questionable trip he was supposed to take, because he's originally from California, and he was supposed to go back home, but given the climate of everything that's going on right now, he was able to, forego his trip and be here with us. So we appreciate that. So tell us a little bit about where you're from, because I think in this room, we all have the same beliefs, but we have different perspectives. So what was your perspective coming from California, then coming to Texas?
For sure. I'll say it's night and day, first of all. Night and day. But so I grew up, born and raised in Southern California, born in Long Beach, raised in the city of Paramount. So if you don't know where Paramount is, it's right next to Compton. So I'm not straight out of Compton, but I'm from Compton nonetheless.
Compton
Paramount.
Light.
So that's where I grew up. I was born and raised, moved up and down, other parts of Southern California. So I have every right to say dude when I talk,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't say, now I'm in Texas, I say y'all a lot more.
Right.
But yeah, so I grew up in Southern California, born and raised. Grew up in a Mexican, Hispanic household.
Okay.
So different traditions, different ways of growing up, of course. But it was a good time. It was a good place growing up. And so what brought me to Texas 4 years ago. So it's actually 4 years this month I've been here in Texas now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
So
honestly,
we're celebrating with you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been 4 years since I've been here now. I don't have any regrets. I would have honestly been out here a lot sooner, but things didn't line up when I was younger. I was in high school. My dad was going to come out here along with the rest of my family, but that just didn't pan out. So none of them ever made their way out here. We had a lot of friends, not a whole lot of family out here, but somehow I ended up out here. And yeah, no regrets. But California is way different, way different. I mean, it's a beautiful state. I mean, you know firsthand, and we're just saying, right? Yeah, that's San Diego. So I grew up in Los Angeles, beautiful weather. You know, most of the houses didn't even have air conditioning growing up. So, you know, Texas is very different, but I like it because we're in a place now where there's more integrity, more values. You can raise a family here. You're less fearful of other things. Like, people talk to each other here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not to say California is an absolutely terrible place, you know. I will say the food is better in California.
I knew you were going to say that because I was just about to ask.
I got to throw it out there.
The taco shops.
Hey, I know about some tacos. That's right.
Tacos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I grew up in a Christian home. You know, grew up in the faith. Really thankful for that. Of course, I don't come from a perfect family. Went through some rough experiences, you know, growing up as well because of, you know, members in my family and just unexpected turns. So you roll with the punches, you know. But here we are, 36 years later.
Hey, okay.
37 in September.
That's what's up.
So yeah, man.
How's your walk changed from your childhood into where you are right now? Because sometimes, you know, growing up in your home with your parents, going to church probably every Sunday. I don't know if you did or not, but you said you grew up in a Christian family household. So you kind of like experienced like a different type of like how you're supposed to walk into faith. But now you're all grown up and you probably have a different perspective, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say that I grew up, it was a good home. I think we get to a place in our life where we were raised by our parents. You know, they did the best that they could to, and I was fortunate to have both my mom and my dad, you know, in the picture. But you start growing up and you get to a place where you don't agree with them so much anymore, you know? They do things, you know, or they have traditions and stuff that you don't necessarily agree with, but you don't disrespect them. They're still your parents. Right. And that's the same way I feel about, you know, how I grew up, the church that I grew up in. There are things that forever I'll be appreciative of and that I couldn't live without now, you know? And, you know, maybe there are different things that I've changed in my lifestyle and I'm not the same person. But in all that, I've discovered, you know, the relationship with God for my own. As opposed to back in the day when it was, hey, you're going to church. Right. You know, hey, you're going to put on that shirt. You're going to put on that tie. You're going to get in the car and we're going because it's Friday night service or it's Sunday morning. Yeah. And you did it because that's what you knew to do. Yeah. And, you know, now I'm in a place where let's call it religion, right, is my choice. But moreover, my relationship has been something that I've nurtured into place. And of course, I wouldn't have been able to do that without the foundation that I was able to get from the people that came before me, from my parents, from my pastors, from the friendships, you know, I was fortunate to have. And I mean, I'm so grateful for that. And I get it. Not everybody can say the same. You know, not everybody had the same opportunity growing up. But if it wasn't because of that, like today, I don't know what would be of my life, you know?
I have a question because, you know, what I appreciate about all of us in here is we have same beliefs, but we also have different cultures, right? Yeah, so like we're literally representing 3 different cultures. So, but we're all mixed in together, right? So what I kind of am curious about is how much of your proud Mexican heritage, or if any, did play into like your faith walk? And because I'm kind of aware of it, but I don't fully know the Mexican culture very well. So is there a piece of like the being Mexican and looking at your faith that played into how you conducted yourself through your life into your? See, I already know. I just want to know.
That's an excellent
now
question.
I just want to know,
and I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Tell me.
However you want to, whatever you want to call us, Latinos, Hispanics, Mexican. I'm Mexican. You know, my parents, they were from Sinaloa. from Mexico.
Oh, I know
from
that name.
Mazatlan, Sinaloa.
Sinaloa.
All right. Take a step back.
Right, back.
Not anything to do with the cartel or anything like that. No. But we're very loyal people. Very loyal people. We're very, and not to say that any other race isn't loyal, or any group or ethnicity. Nah, but we're very, very loyal people, and I think that played a huge part in our culture and the things that we found value in. And not just loyalty towards religion, all right, but loyalty for each other, loyalty towards each other.
Right.
And that plays a big factor today. It's easy to fall into relationships and friendships, questionable seasons we're talking about.
Yeah.
But hey, a lot of the times you can't walk away from them right away because of how loyal you are, because of how committed you are. And there are things that you either suck up or you say, nah, I got to stay put for sake of this relationship. I got to stay put for sake of having peace, right?
Right.
For having harmony, right? We were talking about that a little bit. And those are things that you desire in the culture because you want to play that part, especially in Hispanic households. I mean, you'll see where parents refuse to let their kids go, and they'll live in the parents' house until they're in their 30s, married with kids.
Yeah.
In the home, you'll see the grandparents, you'll see the parents, the grandkids, and the great-grandkids all in one home. And it's not uncommon, especially like in Southern California. And it is a little more congested. It's just a style of life or whatever. But nonetheless, that's the community that people form, and you find that loyalty and you kind of bind to each other. So I think that's one of the things that I can say helped me in some ways.
Yeah.
But also worked against me because you don't necessarily know when it's a healthy time to walk away.
Yeah.
So parameters in the culture were also kind of difficult.
There's maybe a little guilt will play into leaving, like I can't leave you because you've been so loyal to me my whole life.
Yeah, no.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we know what a guilt trip is, and we all face them all the time.
Different cultures have different versions,
In our Hispanic culture, they're the guilt trip kings and queens.
Right.
Yeah, like we know how to do it, and we do it right. We'll press the right buttons to make you feel the most terrible you've ever felt.
Like, mijo,
trust me,
you broke my heart, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing,
Exactly. Like, are you serious? You're gonna do that to your dad? You're gonna do that to your mom? That's your brother. That's your sister. Like, and you'll get guilted into. Okay, so I grew up in a family of musicians and singers. Everybody sang. Everybody played instruments.
Like Selena.
Yeah, like Selena and Los Dinos, Bidi Bidi Bam Bam, like that.
Bidi Bidi Bam Bam.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Was taken off by Salinas.
Bro, so
Selena.
So I had a lot of friends that were musicians.
Yeah.
And I remember he's still my best friend till today. And he did this to one dude when he got off the piano. He was playing keys, and this guy finished up. And he came off, and he was like, "Hey, man, nice try." Completely dissing him. But it's that same friend that told me one time, he was like, "Hey, man, whenever you need somebody to let you down, just hit me up."
He's gonna tell you the truth. He's gonna tell me
So we're like completely savage. And we're straight up with each other.
Truth and love.
Yeah, but it was that hard love.
And it was that iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, exactly. It was that we were guilting each other into love. And it was cool. It was, it was fun. But it can also have those negative connotations,
So I was raised in my stepmom, she was Mexican, so I was raised in a Hispanic household.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So,
what?
Yeah.
Okay, spicy Papi.
But
I need
Spicy Papi.
Oh, that's right. Spicy Papi. I like that.
Muy guapo over here.
Hey.
I did not know that. Well, just go ahead. Sorry.
But I was curious because, as you grow and mature into your faith, like how you grew up, like it was that one-on-one relationship with God. That's kind of like how it was different from your childhood to you are today. But when me being like my stepmom being around, the Hispanic culture, they would always have statues of Guadalupe and everything like that. Like talk about it, because that's kind of like, I don't know, is that worshiping other idols? Kind of go deep into that because a lot of them are Catholics and stuff. So I just want to get your perspective, because That just came to me, honestly, and I always thought about like,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you,
because there's Jesus and there's our Father, God.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I mean, there's a lot of families that have gone through transitions from like moving from Protestant to this, to that, Baptist, to, you know, different, like a lot of Hispanic cultures, especially, they're usually Catholic, you know, and some of them going to Christianity. Yeah, so my parents, I think both sides of their family growing up were Catholic, but they moved into Christianity, especially my mom and dad. My mom and dad on their own moved into Christianity. Okay, good. You know, and they sought the Lord all on their own. But of course, there were things that they had to break away. You know, idols being one of them. You know, like, you know, the Bible talks about idolatry.
Praying to dead people.
And I'll give you an example. There's a song that we used to sing. And y'all know what Cumbia is? Have you ever heard of the music Cumbia? So it's like that.
I like that.
So we used to legit sing a song that it just kept on repeating. Idols don't have powers. Idols don't have powers. They have mouths, but they can't speak. They have ears, but they can't hear. They have feet, but they can't walk. And it was something that we would sing as, you know, infants, as kids, you know. But that was something growing up that I think it helped us to know that our faith was in Jesus.
Oh, that's good.
And that our faith wasn't even in religion. It wasn't in our church organization. It wasn't in anything else, but that our faith was truly seated and rooted in God. And that started early on. But even then, for some people, church becomes an idol, you know, because you get so ingrained, you get so involved. You don't have limits, and everything seems permissible. Everything seems okay. And suddenly the things that you've made righteous truly aren't. You've built up, you know, these platforms and altars to things that are built on tradition, that are built on things that you really don't have any basis for. And I mean, that's just as much idolatry as anything else can be. You know?
Well, so, and I think I could speak for all three of us. Well, even our producer, Jay, because we all of us serve within our church. And I think kind of the pull with being involved in church is like, we like the servitude. Like we have a heart to serve and we want to contribute to, you know, to the church. But even then, you know, there's pitfalls to serving because then you're seen by people, you're admired by people. You feel affection from other people and say, oh, look at him. Look how look at how pious he is. Look at how devoted he is. And then there's that little voice that'll creep in and say, yeah, you know you like that affection, don't you? You know you like the way you feel whenever people you know you like the way you feel whenever people look at you and admire you for how devoted you are, right? So it's interesting that y'all kind of set that up in your cumbia, like your, you know, the songs that you sang as a child, because in the same way, like the Bible talks about how, I forgot who it was, but they were told to destroy the Asherah poles, which were like forms of idolatry. Right. And I feel like in our own culture, we have forms of idolatry that come, like you were saying, could come in the form of like those little statues. Yeah. You know, and I know a little bit about the Hispanic culture because I follow some people, evangelists here and there that talk about the botanicas and Santa Muerte and Santeria, all that stuff. Yeah. So it's like witchcraft gets embedded within cultures and goes unnoticed. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And you secretly worship things that you may not even know.
Oh yeah,
and that's the deception. Well, that's a good question, by the way.
There are people that, I mean, to your point, that begin to idolize themselves. Not only are they looking for that affection and that validation from other people, but they start looking in the mirror, and everything that they've ever become hasn't been because of their own efforts or their own accolades or the things that you've done. It's been because of other people that helped you get there. And you start looking in the mirror and you don't look at how you got there. You just see yourself and what you've been able to accomplish. And that's a dangerous place to be too. Right. You know, where you begin to idolize your accomplishments, the things that are within your reach. Because at the end of the day, we can accomplish a lot. We can be successful. We can gain a lot. but we reach a point in our lives where we absolutely 100% need God.
Right.
And that's why when we look in the mirror, we got to use the word of God like the mirror that it is to refine ourselves, to reflect on our lives and see where we're at. Because that's what the word of God should be. It should be like a mirror that shows us our imperfections.
So a transitional question for you directly relates to going back to the guilt that maybe your family would give you whenever you would seek to do things outside of them. At what point did your desire to know Jesus and rely on him supersede your ability to be influenced by the guilt that the Hispanic, the Mexican culture would give? Because, you know, like at some point when you go from thinking like a child to doing childlike things and then growing and going through spiritual maturity and then growing into a man that eats meat instead of spiritual milk, you know, at some point your parents, people around you are going to notice, like, JT, man, he's really getting mature.
Right.
And then you start to break away and start to make your own choices. So did your relationship with Jesus strengthen and therefore kind of push you outside of that realm of guilt? Or
Yeah.
I know it's a weird question. But
Yeah, no, I think there are two occasions. One of them was during high school and another one was out of high school.
Oh.
So actually it was coming into high school. I was already 6'1", and I was about 300 pounds. I was a big boy.
Old lineman.
I'm still a big boy, but I was a bigger boy.
Yeah.
But
You ain't less than me.
hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, no, I was a big boy, and there were a lot of people that wanted to see me play football.
Yeah.
Football just wasn't my sport.
Right.
But nonetheless, I mean, people would join because they had the height, they had they had desired qualifications, you know, from a coach, let's just say. But I remember real specifically that football was going to take me away from the things that I love to do the most. And during that time in my high school years and before I got into high school, I loved playing the drums. I played drums for the better part of my life.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
And I knew that if I joined the football team, I was going to have to play on Sunday. I was going to have to be practicing during church service nights. And here's the thing, my parents could have easily been like, hey, if you join football, you know that's not right. You know, they could have been straight up like, nah, that's not acceptable because you're gonna miss church.
Yeah.
But it was my choice to say, you know what? I'd rather not play for sake of being able to do what I truly love. And I was playing the drums.
Right.
And I mean, I played drums from when I was 8 years old, and I didn't stop steadily playing until I was about 27 years old.
Wow.
So I played for a long time. I played drums for well over 20 years. And I mean, I don't play anymore, but I mean, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things that I remember early on where I was like, yeah, I could play football. I might be good at it. But again, I didn't follow it. It was one of those things where I decided for myself. I decided, like, you know what? I don't want to do it because I know it's going to pull me away. Another thing was, once I got out of high school, I had gone to, I tried out, I applied to go to Musicians Institute in West Hollywood, California.
Okay.
And Musicians Institute is like one of the more prestigious music schools where people come from around the world to go there and whatnot. And if you want to be a session musician, if you want to tour, that's the place to go. And it was going to be expensive to go and whatnot, but at that time I wasn't thinking about it. And when I went and tried out, they didn't just place me on the first tier, they put me right into the second tier because of my skill level. You know, I didn't have to learn a lot of stuff. And again, I was already enrolled. I got accepted.
Wow.
But then there was just something that was uneasy in me. And this was the kind of school that was going to have me touring right off the bat. I was going to end up in Japan, overseas, and playing drums in different places. And I was really into like fusion, jazz,
that's cool.
like funk and different styles like that. But there was something in me that was just like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I turned it down. And it was after that point in my life where my pastor started letting me preach at church. I started teaching.
Wow.
I started leading worship. Things that I never, because I was always the kid behind the drum set, you know?
Right.
But it was after that stuff started taking off in my life, where I made those choices for myself. It wasn't my parents guilting me into saying, hey, no, you got to stick around. You got to go to church. And no, this was all on my own.
Man, you know, you talked about questionable seasons, navigating questionable seasons at the very beginning. And I just admire your perspective, because me and SP and Papa Bear have talked about this, but, you know, putting the first things first. You probably never heard us say this, but when you put the first things first, you get the first and the second. But if you put the second thing first, you lose both, right? So I feel like along your journey, you've always put God first, and everything else got added to you, right?
Yeah.
Like you forewent football to pursue the passion that was already inside of you for the gift that you've been given for music, playing the drums and singing and things. And then all of a sudden, all these other opportunities got opened up to you.
Well, it's a biblical standard. I mean, we all want things added to us. We all want the next thing. We all want to move up. We want the things that we desire, you know, the passions and desires of our heart. But the prerequisite is what the Bible says, to seek first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
That's the prerequisite right there.
Yeah.
And when you seek him and his right, because bro, I can seek my righteousness all day long, but the Bible says that they're like filthy rags, like dirty rags.
Yeah.
And I could try to justify myself and make myself right before God all day long with my thoughts and my ambitions. But at the end of the day, it's worth nothing if I don't put God's kingdom first.
Right.
I wish I would have had that mindset whenever I was younger, where I just knew how to make the right decisions off Jump Street, so that way it would lead to where I'm supposed to be. Because I feel like I've just made a bunch of bad decisions. But I was telling y'all earlier, like, I just feel like I don't deserve anything.
Well,
but he's just good. He reigns on the just,
and the unjust. Yeah, and
so
here's the
he's
thing,
good
to the point of healing, right?
Yeah,
I think that with growth comes healing, you know, and sometimes we're not in the middle of a season of where we need to be healed from something. We might be good, but nonetheless, with growth and with healing both, it's a process. It's a process. And back then, I didn't know what God was doing in my life. I didn't know any of that. Some of it I'm understanding because I'm talking to y'all about it right now.
Unpacking it.
You know, and that's the thing. It's sometimes healing is the process. You know, sometimes, you know, the things from the past, they prepared us so that the healing in the present would be easier, you know, because if we wouldn't have gone through certain seasons at the pace that we did, if we didn't make decisions the way that we did presently, man, it'd be so much harder. It'd be so much more difficult. And that's the thing. Sometimes God allows people like myself to experience things the way that I did. And I want to say fortunate, but I was blessed. I was truly blessed.
Yeah.
But there are other people that do have to go through the unfortunate seasons where they're constantly having to heal from this, heal from that. But nonetheless, the process, it's not just necessary, but it's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding.
His right hand has upheld you, for sure. I know you got a question, so go ahead, and I got a question after that.
I just wanted to ask, like, you know, obviously you got a good head on your shoulders, you know what I mean?
I'm trying. My neck holds me up.
Yeah, but you were talking about, like, you know, being through those difficult seasons, but knowing that God, like, prepares, like, there's always a reason why he puts you through those difficult seasons, to prepare you for what's coming next. It could be your purpose or your calling, whatever he has you. So talk about, like, because you've been through a difficult season, you know, recently in your life. Like, talk about, like, how did you deal with that difficult season, and how did you come out of it and get to where you are today, right now, standing? And there's a lot of good things now happening in your life that you're, like, very appreciative. And,
that's good. You
know, you didn't just run away and, like, isolate yourself and run from God. Like, you stayed with your brothers, you know what I mean? You built that community and you just kept it going.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think the hardest thing that happened, let's just talk about that first. I think the hardest thing that happened for me coming out of the different season that I was, or the different things that I went through, was having to be alone, you know? I'm here in Texas, in DFW now for 4 years. And now I'm alone. I don't have any family.
Yeah.
All of my family is in California, Arizona, and Las Vegas.
You got two brothers right here.
Hey,
we're
that's
in
what's
Texas.
up, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate
on,
y'all. No,
You got
for
two
real.
brothers.
We locked in.
Yeah, hey,
We
I
locked
appreciate
in.
that, man. No, for real. I'm so thankful for who I have around me. But it's in this lonely season where I've had to do uncomfortable things.
Right.
You know, in your solitude, there are things that you long for, and one of those is to be with somebody, to be
Yes.
with people.
Yeah.
And you know, I got through, you know, my divorce not long ago, and you know, those are one of the things that you suddenly have to learn to be by yourself again.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's, you know, it's painful, but nonetheless, you do the things that you need to do in order to fill those gaps, you know, fill that void. And one of the things that I've done is I've had to do the uncomfortable thing and seek people out, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Because if not, it'd be me by myself,
Right.
you know, and I'm so thankful for like our church, for example, for Social Dallas, because man, there are people that out of nowhere, they just came out of left field, bro, like an army of people. When I thought I was going to have to be the one doing all the seeking, you know, where people are seeking me out, say, hey, let's hang out. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And that's been something I've been really, really thankful that I've been able to get out of and navigate through.
Yeah.
Because I would have lost my mind.
Right.
I don't know what would have been of my life if I hadn't built up myself from the way I did years ago.
Yeah.
If I didn't have God in my life, if I don't think I had a centered past, I really don't. I don't know where I would be. You know, I don't know what habits I might have fallen into.
Yeah.
I could have moved back to California. You know, there's a variety of things, and I don't think any of it would have brought a good result.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't think any of it would. It would have been steps backward.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like God keeps you,
Yeah.
but you have to lean on Him and not on your own understanding.
Yeah. Now, I do want to touch on you mentioned divorce, and I don't want to highlight the negative aspects of divorce because I think God can be evidenced even in a violent separation. And we made mention that we talked about healing, right? So what I want to know from you is, through that violent separation that you had, although parts of it, you know, were amicable, walk me through the healing process and possibly what it meant to forgive and, you know, different aspects, because there may be people watching right now who are a product of, parents who divorced, or they may have been through a divorce themselves. So I know that you've seen the other side, and you've seen God's, you know, right hand, His strong hand that's provided for you and upheld you. So I kind of want to know from your perspective, like, you know, where did the healing come? Was there any forgiveness involved? And, you know, just walk us through that if you can.
So I'll tell you, one of the biggest deals for me was the guilt factor. The guilt factor. And I'll tell you in which way. It's probably not the most common way, and some people wouldn't even care. Some people would be like, for real, you were thinking about that this whole time?
Yeah.
But the biggest deal for me was coming to a place before God where I was like, God, if what I did was either a sin, or if I somehow trespassed or transgressed against you or against her,
Wow.
please forgive me.
Oh, man.
Please forgive me.
It's humility.
Because, you know, again, the growing up in church, divorce is not an option.
Right.
There's no way. It's till death does you part. It's a lifelong commitment. You did it before your friends and family. And it's something that is just not on the table. It's taboo. You don't talk about it.
Right.
It's not something that you see. And then suddenly you get faced with the possibility of, man, I'm going to be a statistic. Man, I'm going to be a part of that group. I'm going to be that guy that is divorced. I'm a divorcee now. And it's hard. It is so difficult to be able to face those things and come before God and say, like, you know what? If what I did, whatever responsibility belongs to me, I'll take it. But please forgive me. please forgive me first so that I can move on and so that I can in turn forgive. Because I think that's one thing that people, they just look at this two-way street, but there's a third one involved. You made that commitment before God, you know, and that was one of the hardest things for me to do. And that happened later on down the line where I had to take a pause and say, God, like, man, like, search my heart.
Yeah.
You know how I got here. You know why this happened. You know all the reasons and all the circumstances behind it. But it's not impossible to get through. And I'd say that to anybody listening to today. It's like, sometimes it happens. And you might be the person like me that asks, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why was I dealt these cards? Or why did it come to this? Did I fight hard enough? Did I do everything that was within my reach? There's so many questions that can plague you. But at the end of the day, once you're in the middle of the process, or after you've gotten through it, there's a time where you're going to come before God and you're going to say, hey, forgive me.
Yeah.
I need it. Because that's the only way I can move on. That's the only way I can really seek, you know, the healing that I need.
Something came to me. This while you were talking, you used the word divorcee. Okay, that was the operative word that I picked up on, and I realized what you're talking about. Everyone can relate to, whether you've actually been divorced, whether your parents are divorced or whatever. Because if you think about it, we're all divorcees. Because when we were still in our sin, because we're the bride of Christ, when we were still in our sin, we're likened to someone that's in adultery with sin.
Yeah.
And God's standing at the door of our heart and he's knocking.
Yeah.
It's up to us to answer the door.
Yeah, he's a gentleman like that.
He's a gentleman like that. So really, whether you've gone through it in the natural or not, I think we can all say that we are divorcees at one point.
Yeah.
And so the same forgiveness that was extended to us while we were still in our sin is the same forgiveness that you extended in the natural to the situation that you were in with your ex-wife.
Right.
And healing came from that.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, that's so good because, I mean, in our natural state, we're all separated from the grace of God. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. It sits on us. That's who we are. We're imperfect. We're human. But it's nothing that we could do, nothing that we could say, nothing that we could pay. It's all God's grace that brings us back to a place where we could reset. Where we could say, you know what? That's not the end. And today I'll sit here and I can tell you, I trust that God has forgiven me. I trust that he's cast that into the deepest part of the ocean. And you know what? Just like PR was saying, sometimes people go on a fishing expedition, you know, they go deep sea fishing, they're trying to dig stuff. No, you know what? The devil's a liar, you know?
Yeah.
And there's so much deceit out in the world, and there are so many things that just want to see us down and out and take us out. And I mean, that's what the devil's come to do, is just to lie to us, to cheat us out of opportunities, to destroy us and our families. And he won't be content until he achieves that. You know, but it's the violent men.
Yes.
It's the violent men, bro.
I like how you tied that in.
That take it back. That take it by force.
Amen.
You know? Yeah, that's right.
So at what point, I mean, this is a deep question, but you can answer if you want. But at what point do you, like, after you, like, probably you prayed and you meditate and you sat with God, you know, that you call it a quits with divorce? Because, you know, in the Bible it says, like, you do not divorce unless adultery or, like, murder, right? But I don't know anything, like, outside of that, like, okay, so whatever is going on, like, I have to sit here and we have to figure it out until death do us part.
Yeah.
You know, well, because I've been divorced. I was married once and at a young age, but I didn't give my life to Christ. Like, God wasn't in it. But she, you know, she ended up cheating on me, you know, so I was like, all right, I'm calling it quits. But I just want to get, like, your perspective, like, at what point, because I agree with it, like, you left and, like, that was a good choice. Because then you felt that guilt, though, after. It's like, well, she didn't commit adultery, you know, she didn't kill anybody. But dang, but I know she's not right for me.
Yeah.
You know, I got to call it.
Well, I think
I look
at, I mean, it's an important question to ask too.
because you're a man of faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know the importance of marriage.
I think you look at it when you're saying that, and you're just looking at it in that simple lens, until death do you part. You're thinking literally about the person that you love the most, about your partner in sickness and in health. What wouldn't you do? You'd take a bullet for them. You'd die for them.
Right.
And that's the context of the death perspective, until death does you part. But what about once you get to a place where you feel like the things that you're going through are killing you? When do you draw the line? That's a hard question to ask.
It is, yeah.
When is it time and you say, you know what, I can't live not just with this, but like this.
Right.
Because I mean, there are people that literally will kill themselves with stress, with anxiety, with hardships.
Right.
And we're talking about financial hardship. We're talking about, sleepless nights. We're talking about issues, verbal abuse. Yeah.
like all that
okay,
stuff.
you know what? For a battered woman, you know what? He hasn't killed me yet, so it's okay.
Oh, my gosh. Where's the line?
Right, yeah.
Or a husband that's being emotionally attacked.
Yeah, right.
Where it's a hard line to draw.
Yeah.
And that is where I would say you need to seek good godly counsel.
Right.
You need to seek good godly counsel. But most importantly, you need to take it to God. Right. And there's going to be indicators. There are going to be indicators that'll tell you, this is it. This is where I draw the line. I can't anymore. But some people aren't willing to ask that question because of the guilt factor. Right. Because of the commitment that you've made. And you know what? Commitments are great. They're meant there to keep us accountable, to keep us on track. But nonetheless,
right.
How long do you stay committed to something that is slowly either killing you or taking you off track or derailing you?
Right.
I think those are the kind of questions. And it's not a one size fits all. It's not. So just like I went through a divorce, there might be somebody right now that's going through a similar situation. My answers are not going to be the same answers for them. Right. It's not if the shoe fits, nor if the boot fits. No, like you've got to get down on your hands and knees and you got to go before God and ask him, when is it time, or where is the line? And God will tell you. God will show you. For me, there was a defining moment.
Right.
There was a defining moment where I was like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, how much more do I need to put myself through? What other lessons do I need to learn before I open my eyes and understand that things not only are not going to change with help, but will not change?
Yeah.
And that's the place I think that everybody should take a step back and take a look in. Yeah. Get yourself out of your own shoes, because that's the thing. We get so stuck in our situation that we forget to take a larger look at the entire situation that's going on.
Yeah, and some people, women or men, they get scared of change. Like, man, I've been with this person for so long. Like, I don't want to start over. Like, they're scared of that starting over.
Yeah.
So they stay in it, and it, like you said, it slowly kills them.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you definitely got perspective because, you gave this commitment another shot. So I know for you, there probably was some trepidation behind, you got someone that loves you, you love her, but, you're like, man, I don't want to go through the same sort of grieving again. I don't want to go through the same violent separation. I don't want to possibly hurt this person, if I were to do this again. So your perspective is very valuable. I mean, both of y'all, I feel like both of y'all know a lot about this situation.
Yeah, and I couldn't get to, my second marriage that I am right now without God. You know what I mean? Without giving my life to Christ. And then being surrounded by, godly men and healthy relationships. No relationship is perfect, right? They have their flaws, but being mentored by, people like that, gave me hope. And I'm like, man, this can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what, now where I'm at now, and I'm trusting God for the future, but one of my non-negotiables is that God would not be the center. If he's not the center, bro, I'm not moving.
You're out. Yeah.
He's got to be there.
Yeah.
And it's got to be completely centered on him, in him, because if not, it's not going to work.
So I'm glad that you said that. So for those of you listening who have been married before, got a divorce, or maybe are much younger, have never had a girlfriend, or maybe those who have had a girlfriend, found out what you like, what you don't like, you're moving to the next person, or you're just in the discovery phase, and you hear what JT is saying and you say, okay, well, I want to set that same standard for my own self. I want to know someone that has God at the center. I was going to direct a question to you and ask, and also you, SP, and ask you, what was the litmus test? What was the way in which you know that person has God at the center? What are some of the indicators? And then I want
Go ahead.
your perspective.
Easy for me.
Already, okay.
They have to be pursuing God.
Okay.
If they're not pursuing God, then it's probably not going to be meant to be.
What does that look like on a practical level for those listening?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they have to have a life that is in pursuit of godly things.
Okay.
You know, we're talking about seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Yeah.
So having a life of devotion, you know, having a life where, and I'm not just talking about being a Sunday Christian where you go to church on Sunday. No, like you have to live a life of integrity, an upright life where you're seeking God in his word. You have time to pray. You know God for yourself, and you don't just know him because of your family. Oh yeah, my family's Christian, so I go to church. Like, no, that doesn't mean anything.
Man.
Yeah, no, that don't mean anything. Like,
Yeah.
you got to know him for yourself. And I mean, the landscape might be different for everybody.
Right.
But I would dare to say that anybody in a young relationship, if you're trying to get into a relationship and you're trying to get to know God together at the same time, it could be dangerous, because in getting to know God, you might find out that the person that you're trying to get to know is not very good for you.
Right.
And the reason I say that's not good and it's dangerous is because it's hard to break away from that.
Man.
You feel obligated. You feel committed.
Guilt.
Emotion. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a guilt.
Like, this
and you know
has
what?
to be right.
And here's the
we have
thing.
God in it. But it's like,
Yeah, absolutely. And look, sometimes the guilt comes from a good place. The guilt comes from the place where you don't want to hurt the other person.
right.
You know?
You have compassion
You
for
have
their
compassion.
feelings. Not guilt, but compassion for
And
their
I mean,
feelings.
not everybody's out there is a jerk. You know, there are men, there are women that are selfless. They're beside themselves.
Selfless.
And they like to put other people before them. Not everybody's like that though. And there are occasions where, because of sometimes people made choices prior to getting into a relationship. You know, they started having sex before marriage, or they started emotionally attaching themselves to each other. It's so hard to separate.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying it's important to have God at the center first. Because if you're armed with God in you, then you'll be able to identify things in the other person right away that aren't for you. You know? And there's no such thing. I'll just say one last thing before you chime in, but I really don't think there's such thing as the perfect one. I think there's somebody that is going to complement you and that is going to come in line with you and God, that's going to walk side by side with you. And the thing is, we all walk with our own 2 feet.
Yeah.
We all walk with our own 2 feet. So the path I'm taking, though we might be next to each other, there might be different things that we're going to stumble on. There are going to be different things that we're going to figure out. But I would definitely say, have that person, or not have that person, but make sure that person is in pursuit after God. Because if they come in guns blazing and, you know, right away they're all about you, and they're infatuated with you, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be a downward spiral.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I've got some other thing. Go ahead, though. I had something funny to say.
I think it's similar to what he said. Like, they have to be just as hungry for God than than me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you can't, like you said, you can't just be a Super Bowl Sunday type of person.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you get your worship. That's where you do your praise. And, you know, it has to be Monday through Saturday.
Right.
And then Sunday is just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what it's for me. Like, when whoever is looking for like that significant other, that special person, like, just make sure they are truly pursuing God constantly. And so I can kind of just say the same thing as well.
And even for people who may or may not catch what we're saying, I'm figure out the best way to say this without sounding too vulgar, but the thing that's hanging between our legs really can get you confused in your relationships. So you need to leave that out of the equation until you get married, because I've heard people say, man, I'm in love, but you share nothing in common.
No, you're not in love. You're in lust.
Yeah, because if that person
That's
is
what it
really
is.
pursuing God like they say they are, like their standard is going to be God's design. You know what I mean? They're going to like, so as you guys are getting through the discovery phase, dating, you know what I mean? It's getting serious. Y'all working till marriage. Like, you know, trying to do what's right is like, you know, not having sex before marriage. Like y'all both are going to have that conviction. Like, no, we don't need, this can't happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So y'all going to hold each other accountable, because you don't want to be with somebody that is okay with like, oh, let's just do it just one time and let's just repent and we're good. Like, but then we do it again and keep doing it. That's not healthy. Like you shouldn't. No.
And yo, we're not just saying this to say this. Like, we're only saying it from like personal experience.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
We all know what it's like. So we're just trying to give you the roadmap to follow the right directions the first time around, so you don't add a layer of confusion for what otherwise could be a pure relationship, where you get to see that person the way see that person the way God created them, right?
That's good.
Is that it? Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. So I'm so fascinated with Mexican culture and stuff, because it's a very rich culture. Now that I know both of y'all, you got spice in your background.
Spicy Papi.
I'm just gonna start calling you that now. Spicy Papi. No, bring that to your wife. Spicy Papi. So I actually do want to know from you. You said something like did not even know. Like, you were kind of raised partially in a Mexican culture. So like, talk about some of that. I want to know. Like,
I mean, they weren't like super religious, like going to church every Sunday and all that. Like, but like my stepmom was Catholic. Like, she was like raised in, you know, a Catholic, you know, church. But I would just see like they would always have these idols, like, you know, Guadalupe, and what was the other one that you mentioned?
The Virgin Mary.
Virgin Mary.
Statues of Jesus and other
On the cross,
saints.
Yeah, all around. But I mean, but like he said, like the culture is like very family oriented.
Yeah.
Like, they're loyal. They have your back. Like, you know, like if you part of the, you know, the family, like we gonna ride and die for you. So it was just
That's
cool
cool
just to see that aspect and just to see a different culture, you know, because I have my, you know, black side, the African American culture.
Yeah,
and I kind
yeah.
of saw that side, but then to see this just opened my eyes, you know, a little bit. Like, I don't know, it kind of helped prepare me to relate to like, you know, other Mexicans, and then, you know, I'm half white too as well, so I can relate to the white culture. Yeah, so I'm well-rounded, I guess.
No, but like in other terms, I'm as Mexican as a pot of beans. I might not look it, but I am, bro.
But no, but it's like, cause you see, you go to I go to my grandma and grandpa's house. Like, as soon as you walk in, like they greet you like, hey, how you doing, mijo? Like, you want me to make you some food? And it was like,
cool.
it was just like very warming. But then they get on to you though, you know what I mean? Like my stepmom, we used to butt heads a lot because, you know, it's her way or the highway. You know, so I kind of relate to you on that point where like they gonna come after you.
Did you ever have to go to like Catholic mass and all that?
Nah, never. That's what I'm saying. They were like, they believed in Jesus and all that, but they worshiped other idols. Like, like I wasn't really raised into, you know, the church.
I got you.
They
That's
didn't
cool.
teach me about Jesus or even the, you know, Guadalupe and all that other stuff. Like, it was there, but I never had like
outside of the religious aspect. Like, I'm just like so fascinated that you said that. I'm like still thinking about it. So I don't know. It's kind of like blowing my mind for some reason. It's like I just didn't know that. But so I'm guessing you grew up around some good food too.
Oh yeah.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite?
Ceviche, pozole. I really love my uncle ceviche because
Speaking my language.
He put the seafood in there, but the octopus was on there. But he put it in like a
pulpo. That's right. You know what pulpo is? Wow.
Yeah. But how he made it though was, what is that? That chip? It's like a big circle chip.
A tostada.
Tostada.
Yeah.
He put it on tostada, then mayonnaise
He put it in
on
oil.
it,
Yeah.
and then he put it. Yeah.
Oh
good.
man,
He made the best ceviche I've ever had. Like,
I feel
to
like
this
I'm
day.
over here trying to be healthy, and y'all talking about food.
But pozole and all that homemade tortillas, my grandma would just make it with the
Man.
flour. She'll be rolling it. She'll have like by the end of it, but before I leave, she'll have like probably a stack of tortillas already made.
man. I like
Food's
pozole.
amazing.
Man, I like pozole.
That's why when I come here to Texas, look, it's the taco shops in San Diego, like it don't get no better. You know
It
what I mean?
really
Like,
does.
Come
It
on.
truly doesn't.
Like,
And
that's real
That's no
Mexican
lie.
food
I
right
won't.
there.
I won't argue with that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get better.
So, so first question for you, and it's going to go to you too as well. So, outside of Mexican culture, it's a non-serious question, so don't brace yourself.
No, let's go.
Outside of Mexican culture, what is your favorite food?
Outside of Mexican culture?
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, you know what? It changed. It changed for me.
Okay.
It used to be pizza. It was just straight up pizza.
Okay. So it's
And
American.
I used to be sold on New York style pizza. That was me. But since I moved to Texas, brisket, barbecue.
Ooh,
You know what?
Oh,
When you
I
said
like that,
pizza,
big
I
dog.
don't know why I said American because I'm like thinking American style pizza, but you liked Italian cuisine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like Chinese food. I like Italian. You know, I like other types of foods. But
Yeah.
honestly, pizza,
yeah.
it never lead me astray.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug for Hurtado's Barbecue in case y'all want to sponsor us. We're gonna shout you out because your barbecue is just so good, Brandon Hurtado.
Yeah,
Man,
Hurtado's is
Mexican
amazing.
Mexican style barbecue, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Papa Bear,
Amazing.
SP, tear it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Texas
yeah, yeah.
Twinkies, fire.
Come on now.
Just like their Mexican street corn elote. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
They call it Mexique, right?
Mexican.
Mexique. That's what I think they call it at Hurtado's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call it Mexique.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite barbecue?
I'm not going to say what it is after saying that, making this plug on Hurtado's. I ain't going to say it.
Well,
You trying to get me in trouble?
We're trying to get as much free barbecue as possible here.
Okay. No, okay. Let's just say brisket. My favorite brisket is up in North Dallas at Hutchins.
Excellent barbecue.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yes.
That's my favorite spot right there, Hutchins Barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Since you're as you mentioned, well rounded with the tri-race going on here. I'm kind of maybe there's something out there that I'm not aware of
That's
in
why
my
I
own
can
self.
vibe at any race. Like, come on.
So, what's your favorite food outside of the food that you were raised with? What's your favorite?
I don't
food?
know, man. Like right now, I'm just a health nerd.
Okay.
So like, I would just say like a good steak.
If there's no limit to calories and macros, what would you go to? Like your guilty pleasure?
No limit.
Yeah, no limit soldier
I would just say
calories.
pasta.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good pasta dish.
Italian food, bro.
Yeah, Italian food is amazing. But I don't want. It got to be some like a hole in the wall, like Italian
Some hearty,
place. Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they got it from Italy or something.
The stuff that makes you want to go to sleep after.
Yeah, but no preservatives in it. Like I don't want that American pasta.
Then you want that heavy cream.
Yeah.
Me
that
for
good.
me.
No, I'm saying like when I go out of the country and I go, eat the food there, like I come back lighter. And I can eat pasta and I can eat pizza
Dang.
and all that because the food is clean.
Did you? So I actually heard this. I think I may have told you
And it's
this.
small size too, it's portion.
One of my homegirls, she went to Japan, and she was like, "I don't know how these people eat so much rice, but they're so skinny." And then she went on to explain that the rice that they have there is different than the rice that we have here, because the rice that they have there digests in your stomach differently because it's a complex carb, so it's used by your body differently. So she's like, if you want the right type of rice, you need to go to the Asian stores. Look for the lettering on the bag. I was like, that's a cheat code right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, because I'm all about the rice. For me,
Jerk chicken.
man, you already know. I like oxtails, but I think oxtails are in every culture. I just like the way Jamaican people do it. Shout out Jamaicans. I could eat oxtails, curry goat. I could eat goat head soup, chicken
Plantains.
foot soup.
Wait, let me ask you guys: have you guys ever had mole. You know what mole
Oh,
is?
yeah,
mole
I like
is,
mole.
yeah.
You guys like? I think
Yeah.
mole would be my favorite.
Mole is good, bro. They usually serve it with like a. It's not an enchilada. It's
They do it as enchiladas sometimes.
as enchiladas. But what's the other dish with chicken, right?
Yeah, it's chicken
Mole
mole
chicken?
usually. Yeah.
Man, I like chicken mole, bro. It's got just a nice flavor. Yeah, I don't know why I started thinking about food. I think it's because all this heat that's in the room is making me burn these calories off.
I know. I've been sweating it
So
up.
it's
here.
like it's time to go eat
that's
wings
all good.
after this. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we had a pretty good conversation today.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
good.
It was a very good conversation. If y'all like what we put out, make sure that you click and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified of when we release new content, but also make some comments, whether it's good or bad. We like your feedback. Be blessed. Peace.
Peace. See y'all.